I've had at least 5 people lately ask me the same movie-related question, which is, have you seen Sinners yet? And yes, I'm dying to see it, but I've been sidetracked with some home maintenance issues, boring adult stuff. And all I know about Sinners really is that the main actor plays twins and that somehow vampires are involved. And that brings us to today's episode. This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. That's my closet full of all the stuff that I love. And today, the first Italian Gothic horror film that also involves vampires. Well, sort of. Let's check it out. Today's film is I Vampiri, or in English, The Vampires. It's from 1957, a brisk 82 minutes long in beautiful black and white, and also in Italian with English subtitles. This is about a mad scientist who captures young women in Paris and drains them of their blood. Meanwhile, this intrepid reporter is trying to figure out what's going on. That's kind of the plot, really. This is generally considered the first real Italian Gothic horror film. Not many people in Italy during the 50s were familiar with vampires at all. That's for various reasons: cultural reasons, religious reasons, censorship reasons. The word vampire generally meant predator, often a sexual predator. Don't expect those typical vampire tropes here. There's no bats, there's no guys walking around in capes, there's no fangs or sucking the blood out of somebody's neck, there's no mirrors or crosses or anything like that. But there are touches of other genres touched upon. For example, that we have a mad scientist and his Igor-like assistant, and those scenes reminded me of Frankenstein immediately, with the lab with the bottles of bubbling liquid in the background. There were also touches of giallo, I thought, where we have the guy who's attacking the women always wearing black leather gloves, and we have somebody who's a civilian, not a cop, trying to investigate these murders. Familiar things in giallo films. It has a strong Gothic feeling to most of the film, with the ornate rooms and the arched doorways, the off-kilter angles, and the shadows on the wall and the candles and stuff, and secret passageways, castles, suspenseful music. The director was Riccardo Freda. He directed many films, including the horrible Dr. Hitchcock, which I did do an episode on if you want to check that out, and a film I actually liked better of his, which was Samson and the Seven Miracles of the World. But most notable here is the director of photography, and that was Mario Bava, arguably one of the greatest horror directors ever. And he took over the directing duties after Riccardo Freda bailed on the production after 12 days. There were some maybe creative differences or something, but he got mad. He stormed off. Bava took over and finished the film. He's known for such great films as Blood and Black Lace, Black Sabbath, Black Sunday, many others. Now, I Vampiri it's not a great film, but there are a few reasons why you might want to see it. First of all, why do I say it's not great? Well, I watched this, and I watched it a couple of times actually, and I was trying to figure out, why doesn't this work better than it should? And I think it might come down to the characters, because none of the characters are really fleshed out, and none of them have a really great screen presence. The protagonist is supposed to be this reporter who is trying to get to the bottom of all these young women being killed and drained of blood. But he's just kind of smug, and he's always kind of standing around posing, wearing this trench coat. I didn't believe for 1 second this guy was a reporter. You don't see him working as a reporter or interacting with anybody in the newsroom at all. There's an evil duchess, and the importance of her is that she's the one who's getting these infusions, these blood infusions to keep her young. And that's where the mad scientist comes in. But neither the mad scientist or the evil duchess are interesting villains, really. They're just kind of bland, and you don't even see them that much. And even the detective who's really trying to work the case, he's just kind of boring too. So I think that might be it. And I know horror films don't have to rely on strong characters, but at least there's got to be somebody who's interesting to look at, who has some kind of presence, or even a protagonist that you care about. And that really wasn't the case here, except for the young woman who is kidnapped near the beginning of the film, but really don't know anything about her except that she's a young woman and she got kidnapped. But there are a few reasons you might want to check this one out. First of all, the historical significance of it. If you're a big fan of Italian Gothic horror, this is the first real example of that. If you're a Mario Bava fan, you're going to want to check this out. The real star here is Bava and his production design. I would say about 75% of this film is very impressive visually. Many wow moments involved while you're watching it. And there's also this special aging effect that Bava created where you see this evil Duchess aging right before your eyes. And there's no cuts, there's no edits. It's not like the original Wolfman film where you see it fading into this evil woman. It's just, she's right there, the camera stays on her, and she begins to age. And it's really impressive. And they do explain in one of the extras how they did that effect. So, as one critic noted, this is an extraordinary yet flawed film. My rating for Vampiri, I'm going to give this one 3 syringes out of 5. Why syringes? Well, like I said, you don't see anybody sucking the blood out of everybody's neck, so they use syringes to extract the blood from the victims and then inject that evil Duchess with the young blood. What's on this disc? This is a Radiance disc. It is region A, B, and C. There's a 20-page booklet. This is the special edition. It's limited to 5,000 copies, but you should be able to find one if you want to get one. And it does have reversible artwork, which looks like the original artwork. And looks like this, which is very nice. And several extras involved here, including an audio commentary, which I did not listen to. And there is a making of documentary with, and there's an interview with Bava's son, and there's an interview with Bava's biographer. And those go anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes approximately. And then there are 2 other versions of this film, which is weird. One is a British version, which is 66 minutes long, called Lust of the Vampire. And then there's another one which is an American version called The Devil's Commandment, and that is 72 minutes long. So they're both shorter than this version here. They both are pretty poor picture quality and quite more exploitative, where you see women in lingerie being stalked and stuff like that, and in bathtubs and everything. So I'm not sure what audience they were going for with those 2 different versions. But the picture quality on the main feature here is very, very good. No complaints about that at all. Very impressive, actually. So where can you see Vampiri? The only place I see it streaming is for free on YouTube. I have no idea what the picture quality is on that. And if you can't find it under the title Vampiri, it's under the title Lust of the Vampire. So feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below. Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. Subscribing is free. Also free is we are on the Letterboxd app under the Kazdoy Closet. Check us out there. And what's not free is my ebook is available. It is True Tales from the Teacher Trenches, the ups and downs from 32 years of teaching. And it's available through Amazon.com. It's for your Kindle. But if you don't have a Kindle, you can use the free Kindle app on any device of your choice. That's going to set you back $1.99. So check that out. Hope you liked this episode. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.